Welcome, welcome. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome. Watchalong with Goosebumps Season 3, One Day in Horrorland, Part 1. Classic dog. Classic dog. Sort of, I got some shampers here, sort of a throwback to the origins of Gattsy on Goosebumps, where I'd often get tanked and just review a couple of books. So it feels good to be back in the driver's seat. Speaking of driver's seat, I think this opens with a deserted car. Yes, it does. I do love this episode. I don't think it's for the reasons the producers intended. He doesn't do that. He doesn't ask for directions. Why would he? He's a man. Luke looks more like a ventriloquist dummy than Slappy does. God, I mean, I know they're hot, but it's uneven sweat effect. She's got like a few loose beads, and he's got like a mildew over his face. Zoo Gardens. Don't insult Zoo Gardens. Well, you should have asked for directions, bro. Oh, what are they going to do, man? Seriously, you've heard what their problem is. Amen. Inspiring. Like, I don't know what his plan is. He's got no idea where he is, so he's going to keep driving in a straight line, presumably. That's what men do. Rather than ask for directions. I do wonder how they got that many seagulls in shot. I mean, obviously the seagulls were just there, but yeah, interesting. Interesting if you're not a very interesting person. Very 90s computer effect there. I think that does happen in the book. Like there's like a fireball. I don't think there's this big scary face though. What is the purpose of that? Like to just get their attention? Like they were driving literally right up to the sign. I guess they might have missed it. They won't now.
What's Horrorland? It's an amusement park. What else? I bet the rides are really scary. Let's go, can we?
Can they?
What if it isn't safe? We'll be safe. I thought you wanted to see some.
Well, if it's not that safe. I'm about to die of thirst in the fucking desert.
Well, it's better than sitting in the car arguing all day.
Yeah.
Let's check it out.
I like that. Dad's got a sense of adventure. Now, the reason this episode sticks with me is because they clearly did not have the budget to create a full horror amusement park as described in the book. And what you get is essentially a park with just some signs put up. It amuses me. So, look, you can see there. There's a lot of roller coasters in the background. I wonder if we're going to see any of those up close, because so far, just a park. Ooh. Sort of a lusty growl he gave. Wasn't that scary? He was horny. Also, again, for budgetary reasons, there's no one else at this park, which I don't think gives the vibe it's meant to give. It doesn't give like, oh, it's deserted. It gives it like we didn't have enough of a budget to hire other actors. It's a Ninja Turtle. Like that bridge is clearly just a bridge. There's not that much horror themed except for the logo they've put over there the day before. Interesting. Very, look at this, like very Halloween store decorations. How are they meant to know? They literally just came to this park at the same time you did. You're about to find out what a horror is, though. Not a very imaginative name, calling them horrors at Horrorland.
Maybe they're closed.
It's like calling the Disneyland Disney's. I do love the costumes and like the designs. It looks great, like genuinely. You know, the practical effects, the masks and stuff are usually pretty good in this show. It's just how they're presented that sometimes comes across as less than scary. Like that was alright. He was kind of cloaked in shadows, but then I love that. I love that. See, that looks so much like the Green Goblin. It's not intentional, I bet. I love that effect with the head. That's really good. Like, I love that effect. But you can see when the horrors are in broad daylight, it's really it diminishes their impact. They look like people in costumes, which I guess they're kind of meant to look like, given it's a theme park. But aren't they meant to be so realistic that they're not? Anyway, you can understand what I'm saying. That's just a plastic skull put on front of a pole with a cardboard box stuck on it. I don't know. I don't get a lot of satisfaction pointing out like flaws in the design, but it always has stuck with me this episode, like the failure to translate Horrorland into a visual medium. Like, look at this. It's a park. This is where you have a picnic with your family.
Now, your mother and I will meet you right back here in 1 hour. Understood?
Oh, they're gonna have fun. That's nice. Vampire Village. This is creepy. Again, when you show less, it's always more effective because the more you see, the crappier it looks, which is just the nature of the genre. And the fact that it's in the middle of the day, it makes it a lot hard to make things scary if it's not in a deep, dark forest, which is why so many Goosebumps episodes take place in a deep, dark forest. So like, look at that. That's a curtain. If that was the entrance to a ride, wouldn't there be like a turnstile? I know they can't afford to do a turnstile, but that's what I'm trying to say. See, there should be more people walking past like that.
Get out while you still can. You scared him. That wasn't very nice. You shouldn't be here. It's not safe. Get out. Get out.
I do like his accent, but I think that's meant to make you worried if you're watching this. But I think the accent does diminish it significantly.
He was kidding, wasn't he? Sure hope so.
He's not a bad actor, the young man playing Luke.
Whole place is about, right? Making you feel scared.
Alright, he's overdoing it a little bit. Very Bella Swan there. That's what this is about, right? This looks alright. I mean, it doesn't really. It doesn't look like a theme park. I'm judging on a curve.
Welcome to the House of Mirrors. Please enter. Come on. But reflect before you enter. No one may ever see you again.
There should be more people around here.
Scary?
But again, it's a good mask. Very Gremlin-esque. You know, the Gremlins. I mean, it's not, yeah. It is just basic mirrors, I guess. But maybe there'll be something a bit more sinister. See, this plays the series advantages. Like, this is probably just 2 rooms, but through the mirrors and just creative direction, you can make it seem much faster than it is. I like that little musical cue. I like that. There's no other reason. She doesn't say anything about being a ballerina, I don't think. But I like that little, well, she does. The little musical cue. That was nice. See, it makes the whole thing seem vaster. Not just the mirrors, but by shooting, you know, interior.
Luke, just stay there. I'm coming. Just calm down. I'm coming. Just stay where you are.
For all we know, that was shot in the same set and they just changed the lighting. Clever.
Hello? Is anybody there?
Ooh. Now that's of a different design. Oh, is that... Can she see it? Is that meant to be... I mean, in the lore of the park, what is she seeing there? Is that another species of horror? Or does that exist? Is that a figment of her imagination that she's, you know, it's going to be different depending on what each person sees in the park? The outfit does look like something the wrestler Sting wore in the later part of his career. I'm thinking of his WrestleMania 31 outfit, the sort of red and black robe, when he lost to Triple H for some reason.
It's Horrorland. What do you expect?
This is good for them. They hopefully get a bit of a chance to just relax. You know, it's their vacation as well.
Can anybody hear me? Where is everyone?
It doesn't look like, like, again, I'm going to say it again. It doesn't look like a theme park, does it? It looks like some tables set up.
You look mighty thirsty. How'd you like a nice monster punch?
I love it. I love the cowboy. I love the old-timey bartender theme.
2 monster punches coming right up.
I love that. He hit him too hard. Yeah, that's great. This mirror scene is sort of already dragging on too long. They're dinosaurs, bro. They're not. Anyway, obviously you can't get bespoke drink toppers with icons that look like the characters in the TV show you're using. But I think that it would have been better with just nothing, I think, than using dinosaurs in place of monsters, because they're both vaguely reptilian. Oh, there's another part coming up in this scene that I love. So I don't get it. Okay, can we watch that again? How does he get the monster punch? And see if you can tell me. Crappy. So crappy. Okay, first of all, whatever device is inside that actor's suit goes a bit too hard at the start, and he spills a bit outside the cup. Whoop! There you go. But furthermore, I don't get what it's supposed to be. Like, the mother's acting like really disgusted, but it's not. Is it meant to be like it's blood? But it didn't cut itself and like bleed into it or anything. It opened up like a compartment in its finger, which, if I was there, I'd be like, okay, so that obviously is a man wearing a suit, because it just opened up like mechanically. Anyway, budgets are tricky. Oh, so it came out entirely clear. It would have been, wouldn't green, like blue, would have been better? I don't know.
No, I think we'll just
He should have just pissed into it with his scaly monster dick. So this mirror scene is, I'm so sick of this. Like, stop cutting back to it.
Well, can you tell me where the phones are?
Phones? Ain't no phones in Horrorland.
Well, can you tell me where the phones are?
Did you see the little names of the snacks they've got down there? Crunchy cockroaches, beetles, something. I like that. I like when workers, like, that's a nice touch. When clearly that was made bespoke by the set department. I love the accent.
Where the phones are?
Phones? Ain't no phones in
That man deserved every dollar of that paycheck. What else did it say? Beetle Burger, I think it said.
Kids? You got kids? Where are they?
Oh, they just went off on the rides.
It's like the judge, so they can't be near any.
Why? Is there something wrong?
Well, no, it's just that parents don't usually let their kids go running around Horrorland.
So why tell them that? If, like, presumably, like, at this stage we're meant to think the horrors are trying to eat the kids. Why would they? Wouldn't they encourage them to send them off by themselves so they can, I don't know, eat them? God, that took so long. That was way, way, way too long. Can we see any other things there? I think I saw toenail. Good touch. See, I don't know, it's the same kind. We saw the Green Goblin horror at the start with like the bulbous eyes rather than like the human eyes.
You're okay?
Of course I'm okay. Let's go on it again.
I pass.
This place is awesome. Let's go on another ride.
Now,
Are you crazy? They tried to crush me. That makes it too scary.
One more.
if this was a real theme park, even if it was run by monsters, you couldn't have an open river just running next to a ride. I'm sure that's not one of the ways the monsters want to harm the children, just having them accidentally drown. Just something to think about. I don't know which health and safety authority they relate to.
I don't want to.
Oh, come on, Liz. You're all tell Al Mark what you think is cute. Go ahead.
What the hell did he just say?
200 times on the inside of your nipple.
Pass.
This place is awesome. Let's go.
He's overdoing it. Listen to this.
Crazy? They tried to crush me. That makes it too scary.
One more ride.
I don't want to.
Oh, come on, Liz. You're all tell Al Mark what you think is cute. Go ahead.
There's a lot of syllables.
Mark what's 200 times on the inside of your nipple.
He's got to enunciate. But hey, look, he's not doing that badly. I do not like the bowl cut.
Ride sounds cool.
I don't know. I'm not ready to get into a car.
That skeleton's awfully small, meaning it's unfortunately probably a child skeleton. Sorry, but it had to be said. Look at that! Look at that! It's a dirt path! What, they couldn't afford pavement in Horrorland? Like, where are those roller coasters we saw in the opening shot? Is that the same family? I think it is the same family. So we've seen a total of one other family at Horrorland and a disembodied head.
A family just went in there, and they didn't look too happy.
It didn't look like they were being forced, though. Did it?
Almost like they were prisoners.
Well, it didn't look like that at all.
They should have been here 10 minutes ago.
Like, if they had a complaint or something, this is how you'd usher them in. Like, there's no weapons. Look, he opens the door for them. I mean, it was rushed. It wasn't that. I don't know. I didn't find it. They didn't seem under duress to me.
Just went in there, and they didn't look too happy.
The parents are doing, like, the actors are doing great. I think they're both doing a great job.
Prisoners.
Look at that orange picket fence in the background, like, just as a haphazardly thrown there to give a greater impression. It's like, what else do they have at the Halloween store? We film tomorrow.
You're getting a little paranoid.
That's what women do. Men don't ask for directions, and women get paranoid.
Take it easy.
Mostly because the men don't ask for directions. I suppose, like, a lot of theme parks, I'm not talking about gender stereotypes anymore. Most, like, theme parks have, like, a river ride. I don't know how many of them are actually in a river. Most of them are circular, I'd imagine. Maybe not. I don't know. I'm criticizing Horrorland a lot. I don't want to add any undue criticisms. I love that. He's got a eye patch. Good touch. I like that. Also got the Horrorland flag there, just in case you forgot you're actually meant to be looking at a theme park. Those coffins, like, do look like real coffins. Which I'm sure they're meant to. That's a man moving it like that. Or a woman. Ooh. He definitely copped that on the head. Here we go, turning it on a broomstick. And then she had the right idea, and then Oh, tell the union about that. Luke's loving it. You can still see there's clearly light getting in there, so I mean, it's not that bad. I suppose if you're claustrophobic, it's pretty bad. But then you probably shouldn't have gone in it in the first place. The biggest risk, I think, would be, I guess, drowning, like that it topples over and you're trapped in there. Ooh, extreme! Also extreme. I think it's meant to look like it's going a lot faster than it is. That river looks quite, I would say, relaxing. So in the book, I know, like, Lizzie... Let's got the HL there. Another good touch. Another good piece of branding. I like that. Okay. A few questions. That river's clearly going downstream. How did it come back around to the same spot? Like some sort of Mobius strip. Unless this is a different checkpoint. And that's either the same guy who's run down to meet them, or just an identical horror wearing the same eye patch. That's point number one. Point number two, was that scary at all? In the books, I think it's shut for a lot longer. And I think, like, lots of spiders crawl over Lizzie, which is horrifying. And that was what we just saw was, it looked like a fairly relaxing ride with a spider that we're now seeing may not have existed at all. And Lizzie didn't even get anything in hers. Again, if you're claustrophobic, it's going to be scary. But that scene, did that... if I was a kid and I saw it, like, coming up to the end of the episode, I'm like, this is meant to be sort of our climax, and that's what we had. I'd be pissed. But then I'd forget about it within 10 minutes and just look at some Pokemon cards. Was it? Was she meant to have been attacked by a spider as well? Or, like, being in the spider? We didn't see it. Yeah, he's got an earring as well. Look at this scene and tell me this is not, like, Werewolf of Fever Swamp. You should be able to identify this is happening in a theme park by every shot. There's that broomstick again. And it's like, did I expect them to build a theme park for this episode of a children's horror anthology series? No. Is there a big disconnect with what we're seeing and what's meant to be presented? Also, yes. It's been mostly forest so far. Haven't seen that roller coaster yet. Don't know why I walked backwards just there. You can turn your head when you're walking. Maybe you can't. Maybe it's like a Michael Keaton Batman situation where you have to turn your whole body. Is that the same outfit as the pirate one was wearing, just without the eye patch? We'll never know. And we don't need to know. Yeah, that's a really good way to touch your child, is just grab them without saying anything. What made Luke was like loving it? What made him think it's for real? Like, he may have seen a spider in like a river ride, and then he couldn't find it anymore. We're getting those lusty horror calls again. They clearly haven't decided on a uniform accent. I don't know if there is such a thing for horrors. It's not insurmountable, is it? I know it's spiked at the front. Look at that pristine parking spot. Imagine getting that at Disneyland, just like right next to the, I don't know, what's in the entrance to Disneyland. Mickey Mouse's ass. I mean, it is at this stage just a sign. Like, it's pretty consistent with the other signing that they've seen so far. Good. Find the manager. Frickin' Karen. Yeah, good. Stop thinking with your frickin' testosterone for 10 seconds, bro. Oh! At the start, you're like, I want to go to Zoo Gardens. They couldn't do anything. How do you want to... Of course you want to get home. They're all trying to get home. Your dad's trying to solve the situation. See, that's one of those other horrors with, like, the yellow eyes. The Green Goblin horrors. If you ever look at the concept designs they had for the Green Goblin in Sam Raimi's first Spider-Man film, they look a lot like... Not that one, the other one. I'm sorry, I was talking over the exit. The finish. Let's see if that was scary. Let's see if I'm watching this in whenever this came out. 97... 8. If this would I guess scare you. They're trying to build the tension, and it's just they're giving it their all, these actors, and it's not working. Oh, shut the fuck up.
Hello, is anybody working here?
Nobody wants to work anymore. Again, imagine this in darkness. It would be terrifying. Like, watching it. It's the fact that it's the middle of the day. Like, it doesn't... It's not... Like, I wouldn't be like, oh my god, I can't wait to watch the next episode. But I've got it here, so, I will. I need to see what happens to the Morris family. I know what happens. I've seen this episode several times, and it is a blast what happens to the Morris family. And not what I think we were led to believe from the first episode. Dun. Dun, 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 dun. Anyway. Most people know that is R.L. Stine there. But what people don't know is it's actually R.L. Stine in that dog as well. I thought for season 3 they changed it to Ultimate Goosebumps and like jazzed up the intro with like more clips and like Adobe After Effects, but clearly not in every jurisdiction. You'll change your tune, Luke, pretty quickly. And all it takes is a spider that may not have not been there at all. I mean, he's a child actor. He's doing pretty well. They're all, as I said, they're all doing super well.
Stay off the guillotine ride. Sharp turns.
Clever. I want to know more about this guy. Why did he warn them? What was he warning them of?
No exit.
It's good spider acting. I was saying the costumes are good. It is mostly just the masks, though, isn't it? And like the hands. There's not. It's mostly just rags.
You take off that stupid mask and talk to me man to man.
It's actually where the balls are. He just grabbed him by the balls. But yeah, no, do look up the Sam Raimi concept. Concept Green Goblin looks exactly like those things. Got them! Again, in the middle of night, where you can hide some of the crappier aspects, it's be super scary.
Who's there? I said who's there?
Wow, that's a lot of people in costume.
What is this?
Isn't she terrific? What do we want from you? We want to say thank you.
Just a minute.
He's touching those kids a bit too much.
We want to thank you.
He's touching the adults as well. Just inappropriate all around. So I bet the concept is going to be,
Horrorland hidden camera.
oh, we took you here to scare you. And they're going to show clips of the family being scared. But it's not going to be hidden camera footage. Like, is this going to be the footage we saw from episode 1 with maybe in like black and white with like a border around it to show it's like security camera footage? That's my estimate. It didn't even have the border. There we go. So this was like what the cameras on the broomsticks were. So they're gonna think this is what the concept was, and so that's what it's all for. But then it's gonna be this something else. I have seen it. I don't know why I'm unsure.
So, for all of us here at Horrorland Hidden Camera, bye-bye. Hey, you guys were terrific. Listen, we have another show coming up, a game show, and you're gonna be the contestants.
We just want to go home. Yeah.
You can't go home.
What do you mean we can't go home?
What?
You can't go home because if you do, you will get that new car.
A new car? Who said anything about a new car?
It's the grand.
Literally just said it. Let him explain.
I understand. You're confused. First you find out monsters really do exist, and then you find out we have our own cave.
So they're not trying to be like people in like masks. They're saying, yeah, we're monsters.
Or some other family.
No, wait. Just, I don't think it would hurt to just play the game.
Dad's greed will get them killed.
A brand new sports utility vehicle.
Dad,
Again, all the actors in this and actresses are killing it, and I think this guy may take the cake.
Oh, Sludge! Show the Morrises to make up, will you?
His name's Sludge. I wonder if that's a Horrorland. That's the only sort of horror name we've gotten so far. Sludge. I wonder if they're trying to imply something about this horror's sexuality. Because if they are, they're not making it explicit enough.
Oh, well, they call me the miracle worker. All right, come along, sit down, sit. Don't lollygag now. Have a good old day. Right, there we are. All right, we have some lovely snacks here if you care to partake. There we are. Some eye of Doyle, ear of Hornfield,
They look
booger surprise.
They look good. Like they don't look hard plastic. They look like they're real food. Well done. See, I don't get why he does this. Wouldn't it be funny if he was like scrubbing their? I don't get like the little like. I don't get it.
and they've got cable.
This way.
I don't know. I just think it'd be funny if he like scrub their face, just like a bit of a gag.
Right.
Like that's all he does.
Time to go. Come along. Mustn't keep Doctor waiting.
They really just wanted to show the broad range of sexuality in the horror community, society, race. I don't know how to classify them. Because we do see those two different kinds of horrors. Bulbous eyes and like human eyes. I wonder if there's like a class/racial divide between them.
Just smile and play the game. It's the Monster Channel's favorite game show.
Like, look at this set. Like, this is great. Like, this is like playing to the show's strength. Again, interior. You can dress it up as much as you like. You can control the lighting. You can make it, you know, sort of. You can do a lot more with a lot less when it's inside. It looks fantastic.
Welcome to Raw Deal, everybody. Let's say hello
Raw deal, like, is a pun. It's not really a monster pun, though, is it? Okay, that's a female of the species, or maybe there are like indefinite genders. That's the Horrorland I want to go to.
brand new sports utility vehicle.
If it's the Morrises versus the Morrises, how can we lose?
Mom, how can we lose?
She's been corrupted by father's greed.
Before we play Raw Deal, let's meet today's humans. Carl Morris, his lovely wife Peggy, and their two fabulous kids, Lizzie and Luke. Carl, what kind of work do you do?
Well, John,
Fabulous. Peggy, are you excited to be here on Raw Deal?
yes, we really are.
Hey, so am I. Okay, let's play the game.
Reg is great.
Now, each of these
Reg isn't a name like Sludge, though. Reg is just a regular name.
Is the guess a letter? Now, if the letter gets
Yeah, there's a lot of questions about Horrorland society that,
money on the card you pick,
fortunately, are beyond the scope of the 2 television episodes.
now, today's
I never get what reaction those horrors in the audience are meant to be given. It just shows them like moving for like a few seconds. Jesus Christ, that was some ugly fuckers up there.
come on down, gang.
Look at that, monstrous. But then that is the purpose. My reaction was the desired one. I'm sorry if I talked over the rules. I think it is. I think it's meant to be. You're not meant to get it. Bit of a joke. Don't scream. You don't understand the rules. Unless it is really simple and I just didn't get when I heard it.
Let's have an M, Reg.
Do we have an M? There you go.
Quite similar to Wheel of Fortune, but I don't know if copyright law extends to this society.
Could we have an F, please, Reg?
Is there an M? There is an M. Okay, you now have $600. Take another guess.
You're doing so well, dear.
Let's have an E, Reg.
Is there an E? There is
Ooh, we're doing well. It's not for us. It's not great. It is essentially just a game of Wheel of Fortune that is scripted at this stage.
$100. Anyone care to take a guess and solve the puzzle to win that fabulous sport utility vehicle?
We'll take a peek.
Moron! Great. Your family's not going to get a car,
Their turn.
and will probably get eaten.
Message. Now, for the first time on one CD, greatest monster love songs. You'll get your heart is in my pocket and your lips are in my drawer. And get in the mood with ward to ward.
What?
You can forget. Hold your claws.
You've got to think like. I should have checked. It was a different person who wrote each episode because this, like, they're having the guy who got like the brief for this story obviously realized there is no way I can swing this to make it in any way scary. I'm just gonna have a lot of fun with it, and it's great.
Puzzle board looks like this.
So they did more while we were gone. That's a good technique because I was complaining about how boring it is.
Morse family is lucky.
What? It has to be that. The Morris family is lucky. Yeah. What? What else could it be? The Morris family is
Go away empty-handed.
I don't know.
What do we have for the Morris kids? Appearing on today's Raw Deal, the Morris kids get a bucket of worms.
Well, move off the seat. It's not, you don't just stand there. Is that the daddy said? Don't do that. We'll help them.
Morris, are you ready to try and solve the puzzle for a chance to win that fabulous sports utility vehicle?
See, it's a critique of consumerism. Like, they can see their children suffering, but they want, like, consumer goods.
Sense of humor. It's only worms.
Yeah, have a sense of humor.
The car.
It's gotta be a critique.
I think I can solve this puzzle.
What else? What else could it be?
The Morris family is lunch.
Wait a minute. The Morris family is lunch? What?
What do you mean by lunch?
The Morris family will find out exactly what we mean when we return.
He, again, he has earned every cent of his paycheck. So I reckon that was like a real, that would have been when the real ad was. And I think that's a great touch.
The Morris family,
Makes you feel like you're watching Raw Deal, which again is not really a monster pun.
brand new, fully loaded sport utility vehicle of their dream. Ready?
Yes, but what did you mean about lunch?
That's why we call it a puzzle. We'll be back.
You've never called it a puzzle before.
Away in a
It's called Raw Deal.
spanking new car.
Which again, admittedly, may be a clue about the nature of the prize.
Fun with your very own human figures. Scare them, smash them, eat them. They're your own humans. You get dad, mom, brother, and sibling. Put
Like,
Human action figures.
like again, the writer was like, "Yeah, no, I'm not gonna scare anyone with this one. I'm just, you want a monster game show? I'll give you one, and nothing more."
Are you ready to cut the deck? Are you ready to cut one? I love that joke.
Come on, that's not that bad.
Go ahead.
You made a fart joke, but like, the whole basis of their society is that gross things are good. So I don't know. Don't know why that crossed the line with the audience. I think Reg is doing a great job out there. Oh, it was actually the most passion he's felt in years.
Chance to win a new car. But not before you take the Horrorland Challenge.
So it's still called Horrorland, even if it's not like the previous game show was called Horrorland Hidden Camera because the hidden cameras were in Horrorland. This is called the Horrorland Challenge. So does society revolve around the theme park? Do these people have homes? Presumably they do, because they just showed those two monster kids at home. I don't know. It was just like the entrance to like horror society. They've got to pick a door. Sorry, I'm sure you can follow. It's it ain't exactly Memento.
Is Ripper, the killer thief.
Sorry, what was that? What was that? What was that? What was it behind the other door? Sorry.
Utility vehicle. And behind the other door is Ripper, the
That's not Ripper, bro. That is Saber from the previous episode, Welcome to Camp Nightmare. I think that may actually be a still taken from that episode. But I'm not going to criticize that. Puppets are probably quite expensive to make. I think the name Ripper's kind of a lame name, though. I think Saber. It would be better if they called it Saber and showed a picture of Saber. Because it does nothing to ruin the the rich lore established in this episode, but it would serve as a nice like nod to fans who'd watched the other episode. They should re-release it on Blu-ray with that change made specifically for me.
seconds to choose. Ripper, the clock is running.
Tell you what, this has turned out to be quite a raw deal for the Morris family. Oh, that's why they call. Okay. She was holding that key quite. They're really playing up the sex appeal of this female horror.
Now, there you are. You have chosen door number 1. So, say hello to Ripper.
Okay. They were barely pushed. They were willingly walking in once they heard it was still Ripper.
There you are. Door number 1. So, say hello to Ripper.
Look at Lizzie. She wasn't being pushed at all. I don't think any contact was made.
I thought they were nice monsters. You know them, Mom.
The only nice monster was the gay one. Just like in real life.
Look at this. Oh, Ripper doesn't leave much, does he?
So presumably this was the other family we saw at the end of the previous episode we're going to, but were they like...
Whatever happens,
Did they go here willingly? Like, I don't know, did they have the same game show? Does seem to be the society's mostly based around game shows.
Quick, through here.
Horror we saw at the start who warned them, now he's come to help them. I hope we'll get some motivation. We will, I know, I've seen the episode.
Hurry, hurry.
That's nice.
Okay, now listen. You have to listen to me and do what I say. I want to help you.
Who are you?
My name is Black, and I
Black.
am the host of Radil. Red Sniff. Tui. What a new talent.
Reg Sniff.
Welcome back to Radil. You see, I'm great, but I'm not the producer's brother-in-law. You know how that works.
well, you should have been.
Yeah.
But
Did they need that extra? Yeah. Ooh.
The producer's brother-in-law. You know how that works.
well, you should have been.
Yeah.
But
He's great. Again, earning every cent of the paycheck. So yeah, that is definitely Saber from Welcome to Camp Nightmare. Though that was revealed to actually be like remote controlled. It was a puppet in that episode. Presumably in this one, it's real. I don't know. Draw your own like continuity about where these episodes fit with one another. Lots of forest. It bears repeating. Lots of forest for a theme park. Arguably, mostly forest at this stage. Forest and game show. Not a lot of roller coasters. The immersion has been broken, well and truly, within minutes of the first episode. Again, too bright, but you have to... They've been dirtied up significantly. It looks like they've been running for a lot longer. Like, did they fall on their fucking asses? Like, their faces are covered in dirt now. Maybe it's meant to be days since they've been on the run, but I don't think so. Good little sound effects. Oh, they've established well and truly that coming to Horrorland instead of Zoo Gardens was a mistake. Dad couldn't find Zoo Gardens because he refused to stop for directions. All right, blame Dad. Also, he stayed in that game show to get a new car because he wouldn't fix the air conditioner of his old car. This man expects everything to be given to him and then lashes out when it doesn't. Men. I like that scene before where it shows like all remnants of like previous. That's what there should be more of in this episode, like creepy remnants of like previous campers. Like, oh, again, all we saw was that one other family. There should be more stuff like this. Like this is like a recurring pattern.
Looks like we're not the first family to appear on Raw Deal.
Although, why did all the stuff end up that way? I mean, the Morris family escaped, but surely most of them get eaten in the den. What happened? Why is all the stuff there? Was it just like chucked there, like a garbage pile?
Keep going.
It's
Dad, I can see the parking lot.
Of course you can see it. It's right in front of you. You're not squinting. It's beyond the fence. A pretty standard fence, which is susceptible to the same influences as fences in human society, it seems. At least Dad went last this time. He was prepared to make that heroic sacrifice. He should have died in this episode. Well, they're going to have to fix that. Do you reckon the car will start first time? I think it will. I think it will. Dad's fed up. Bit drawn out, isn't it? It's gone on a bit long. Can we get that reaction again? Is this guy prepared to give his life? He's not. He was like, I'm essentially the Horrorland equivalent of a minimum wage worker. Bold of him to have even thought the sign was going to do it, but I appreciate that.
I am never setting foot in a theme park again.
Or a TV studio.
Do you go in TV studios that often?
I don't think this is the time to be
I wonder where this was filmed. I'm sure it can be found quite easily. But it seems very, very coastal. That seems like a beach, right?
There sure is, because you're not steering it. I am.
I'm glad we got more of him before the episode's over. Clever. Okay, Reg is the star of the MVP in a crowded field of all stars.
Well, perhaps we should just
Such an odd choice to end like this.
Good idea. Ooh. Cockroach?
Oh, thank you, darling.
Such an odd choice. I feel like if you were a kid and you watched that first episode, you're like, oh, maybe like because of the danger presented at the end of the previous episode, they're gonna up the ante. And then I would have been pissed as a kid watching this. I would have been pissed. I'm like, this is not remotely scary at all. Why is there an infomercial about monster love songs? I'd be really like salty that they didn't make it scary. Watching it as an adult, which I hasten to remind you I am, it's delightful. And it's like, imagine being that kid and getting to the end and like not even getting like a final like scare or anything, getting it that, hey, it was horrors were watching this on their television and actually they have lives just like us.
Thank you, darling.
Their houses are remarkably similar. They seem to be mostly quite similar to humans except for their eating habits. Anyway, if that was one day at Horrorland across 2 episodes, I love it. I love it. How could I not? There's and I love the tonal reversal, going from almost pathetically unable to produce laughs despite its best efforts to fuck it, let's just fuck around with this episode. Let's make one of our monsters a big flaming
Eye of Doyle and
queen.
Booger surprise?
No thanks.
No. Suit yourself.
Peak, like this episode specifically is what people mean when they talk about how good the 90s were.